Hello everybody. In this video I'm gonna talk about linear equation in two variables. We already learned linear equation with one variable, which was the general format was ax plus b is equal c, or 2x plus 3 is equal 5. And as you see, in this linear equation we have only one variable, which is x in this case. It can be any variable, y, z, whatever it is. As I told you, 2 is the coefficient, 3 and 5 are constant, and each of this one, 2x or 3 or plus 3 or plus 5, we call them terms. This is the linear equation with one variable. We already know how to solve this type of equation. Now, in this video, I'm going to talk about linear equation in two variables, which the general format is ax plus by is equal c. Okay, ax plus by is equal c. This is one format. The other format is y is equal mx plus b. The top format for this one, we call it a standard format. A standard format. The bottom one, we call it a slope y-intercept format. Okay, so these two formats, a standard format ax plus by is equal c, or a slope y-intercept format, which is y is equal mx plus b. I will explain both of them, and of course both of the format can be convertible to each other. We can convert a standard format to a slope y-intercept format, or a slope y-intercept format to a standard format. In this video I'm going to talk about a standard format, and in the next video in the separate video I will talk about a slope y-intercept format. So let's erase this one for now. Now let's say we have this equation, 2x plus 3y is equals 6. Okay, remember, when we are talking about a standard format, 2 and 3 or coefficient, 2 and 3 which has coefficient, and 6 is the constant, all of them should be integer. So if they were in the fractional format or in the decimal format, if we want to convert to the standard format, we have to eliminate the decimals or fractions or other formats. Now, for this one, how we can solve this one? For the linear equation with one variable, solving was easy. X plus 2 is equal 3, and we can find x very easily by moving the constant to the other side, which is x gonna be equal 1. Okay, but look at this one. In this one we have two variables. We cannot solve this one because we have two unknowns. We can solve this one if we know the value of one of the variables. As an example, if I know x is equal 1, okay, then I can substitute 1 for x, which is going to be 2 times 1 plus 3y is equal 6, and then 2 times 1 is 2 plus 3y is equal 6, and then move to the other side, 3y is equal 6 minus 2, 3y is equal 4, and y gonna be equal 4 over 3. Okay, can you see, if I know the value of one of the variable, in this case x, I can calculate the value of the other one. Or if I know the value of y, let's say if I say y is equal 0, then what gonna happen? 3 times 0 gonna be 0, then I will have 2x is equal 6. Let me just do a step by step. 2x plus 3y is 0 is gonna be equal 6. Well, then 2x is equal 6 and x gonna be 3. So as you see, if I know value of one of the variable, I can calculate the value of the other one. If I know value of y, I can calculate x. If I know value of x, I can calculate y. And we have, as you see, we have unlimited answer for this one. How we can find the unlimited answer? Is not a good way that for any value we just do all of this calculation to find the answer. If we can find a method to be able to find the answer, all of them at the same time, then it's gonna be the best one. What is this method? Is graphing. We can solve the linear equation with two variables. We can solve it by graphing. If we graph the linear equation, we studied Cartesian system or rectangular coordinating system, which we learn how to graph the point, how to locate the point, and what is the coordinating system. By using this Cartesian system or rectangular coordinating system, we can graph this linear equation. If we graph this one, the graph of linear equation always is going to be a straight line. Remember, the graph of linear equation, it doesn't matter with two variables. It doesn't matter which format, a standard format or a slope y-intercept format. If we graph them, the graphing going to be a straight line always. Now, for graphing the straight line, how many points we need to graph on a straight line? And if you remember, this is the Cartesian system, y-axis, x-axis, and y-axis. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, negative 1, negative 2, negative 3, negative 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, negative. Okay, it's continued from both sides. I explained this one in separate video. Now let's do a simple one. X plus y equal to 0. Okay, this is a linear equation in two variables in a standard format, and I want to graph this one. For graphing when it's in a standard format, for graphing any straight line, we need 2 points. If I have 2 points from any straight line, I can graph by connecting these 2 points and continuing from both sides. Yeah, I can graph the straight line. And from the 2 points, it's possible to graph only one straight line. It's not possible to graph more than one. So if we have 2 points, we can graph the equation. For graphing the equation, we draw a table of value x and y. We pick up any number for x and we calculate y, or we can pick up any number for y and calculate x. It doesn't matter which number, which variable we are giving the number. It's optional. It's completely up to you. We can, let's say, if giving value for x is easier, we can pick x and then calculate y. Sometimes it's easier to give value for y and calculate x. It doesn't matter. As long as we have the option to pick one of the variable, but we have to calculate the other one. Let's say for this one, if I select 1 for x, if I find the result of this equation for the value of x equal 1, then what can happen? Instead of x, if I substitute 1 plus y is equal 0. Then if I move this one to other side, 1 gonna be 0 minus 1, or y gonna be minus 1. Right? So if I pick 1 for x, negative 1 gonna be for y. Okay? I can pick 2 for x, or 3 for x, or negative 1 for x. It doesn't matter. Okay, but I just want to show that I can pick value for y as well. Let's say if I pick y1 for y, I'm showing with different color that if I pick 1 for y, okay, what gonna happen in this one? X plus 1 is gonna be 0. Move the 1 to the other side, x gonna be negative 1. Okay, if I pick 1 for x, x gonna be negative 1. Okay, can you see from now I pick up two value, 1 for x and 1 for y, calculate the other one. Now we have to locate this point in the rectangular coordinating system. Let me erase this one, that we don't need these calculations. Okay, now x1, y negative 1, x is 1 and y is negative 1. So draw a line here, line here. This is the point, 1 and negative 1. Okay, what is the other point? X is negative 1, y is 1. X is negative 1 and y is 1. This is the other point, negative 1 and 1. You don't need to write this point here. I'm just writing that, make it clear for you. Now, what we should do? We should connect these 2 points to each other and continue from both sides. Okay, if I connect these 2 points and continue from both sides, remember that this line should be continued from both sides. This arrow means that these lines are continued from both sides. So this line is a solution of this equation, and in this line there is unlimited point. Okay, every point in this line, as an example, if I select this point here, okay, so x is 4 and y gonna be negative 4. If my calculation, my graphing maybe is not accurate, but if we graph it accurately, any point, just draw a horizontal line, find x, draw a vertical line, draw a horizontal line, find y, draw a vertical line, find x. So we have x and y, which because it's on this line, for sure is working this equation. Okay, now one thing, just imagine if instead of negative 1 in this part, by mistakes I calculate 1. So 1 and 1. And 1 and 1 is here. Okay, so 1 and 1 is here, that the other part is, let's say this one. Can you see the point? If I calculate each of them by mistakes, the location of the point gonna change and my answer gonna be wrong. Right? So to be in the safe side, always select 3 points. When we have drawing 3 points, one of them we call it checkpoint. If we make mistakes in any of them, then these 3 points they are not gonna be lined up with each other. If the points are lined up with each other, it means our calculations are right and our answer gonna be right. But if they didn't line up with each other, then it means that we made mistakes somewhere. As an example, if I select 2 for x, if I select 2 for x, then move it to the other side, y is gonna be negative 2. Now look at here, x2, which is here, y negative 2, which is here. Okay, now can you see these 3 points are lined up with each other? If I make mistakes in any of this one, as an example, instead of negative 1, I calculate 1. Then 1 and 1 is here. Yeah, and can you see from this point and this point and this point is not possible to draw a line that passes through this point. It shows me that I made mistake somewhere. So for graphing with a standard format, when we are graphing with table of value, always calculate 3 points. One of the point we call it checkpoint and is very useful. Okay, now let's just do one more example, then we are done with this part. Okay, let's do one example. let's graph this one. X plus 2y is equal 6. Okay, what is in a standard format, and we want to graph it using table of value x and y. Okay, if I gave 0 value for x, remember I can pick up any number for x, any value for x. 0 is always one of the value, mostly, not always, most of the time is one of the value that is easy to pick because it eliminates one of the variables. If I pick 0 for x, then 2y gonna be 6 and y is 3. Okay, if I pick 0 for y, again I can pick any number for x and y. If I pick 0 for y, then 2 times 0 is gonna be 0 and eliminated, x gonna be 6. Can you see how picking the 0 is easy to calculate the other one? Now if I pick, let's say 2 for x, if I pick 2 for x, then 2 is 2 plus 2y is equal 6. If I move this 2 to the other side, then it's going to be 2y is equal 4, and y going to be 4 over 2 or 2. So 2 for x give me 2 for y. Okay, now let's graph this tree. Let's graph this point. X 0, y 3. X is 0, y is 3. This is a point, one point. The other one, x is 6, y is 0. X is 6 and y is 0. This is the other one.
Okay, I found this on the web for y is 0/66 and
oh,
y
sorry,
is
this is the Siri that listening to me. Okay, now the other one is x2, y2. X is 2 and y is 2. Now, if these 3 points are lined up with each other, it means my calculation is right. Then connect these 3 points and continue from both sides. And putting this arrow in both sides, it means this line continue forever. And every point in this line is the solution of this equation. Clear? I hope that it be clear. Remember, if we make any mistakes in any of this one, these 3 will not line up with each other, and we can figure out that we made mistakes in our calculation. We need to go back and check our calculation to find out, to fix the mistakes. Now, one thing before finishing this video, this point that the line crosses the y-axis, we call it y-intercept. The point that the line crosses the y-axis, we call it y-intercept. In the y-intercept, the value of x is 0 always, and the y has some value. As an example for this one is x is 0. In this one, x is 0 and y is 3. Because look at here, this is the x value, which is 0. Okay? And any point, every point that the line crosses the x-axis, which is here, yet this line crossing, intersecting the x-axis, we call it x-intercept. Okay, in the x-intercept, x has value and y is 0. In this case is 6 and 0. Okay, so remember, in the x-intercept, x has value and y is 0. In the y-intercept, y has value and x is 0. And this point with the intersection of, which the coordination of 0 and 0, this point, 0 and 0, x is 0 and y is 0, we call it origin. Okay, so for finding the x-intercept, substitute 0 for y and find the value of x. If I substitute 0 for y, x gonna be 6. So 6 and 0 gonna be x-intercept. For y-intercept, substitute 0 for x and calculate y. If I substitute 0 for x, y gonna be 3. So y-intercept, x-intercept, and this one is origin, which is 0 and 0. If we have an equation with a fractional format, as an example, 2 over 3x plus 1 over 2y is equal to 3. Okay, graphing this one in this format is gonna be complicated. What we should do, multiple all the equation by the LCM of the denominator, in this case 6. If I multiply the equation by 6, both sides, if I multiply both sides by 6, then what gonna happen? In this case, this one is 4x, because this 3 and this 6 cancel each other, is 2 times 2 is 4x. This 6 and this 2 cancel each other, is gonna be 3y for this side. The other side gonna be 18. Okay, then we are eliminating the fractions and it's gonna be easier to graph. Okay, for the graphing with the slope y-intercept format, I will explain in another video. Bye for now.